Let me bring in Jason Chaffetz, former Utah congressman and a Fox contributor, and Jessica Anderson from Heritage Action for America. Jason, listen to something else that Jen Psaki had to say today about the use of horses at the border, and then I want to get your reaction.
We've watched the photos of Haitians gathering under a bridge, many with families, and the horrific video of the CBP officers on horses using brutal and inappropriate measures against innocent people.
Jason, say it with me. Split reins, first and foremost, and now these men have been placed on administrative leave. What did they do wrong? They're serving their country, actually enforcing the law in a grueling job, overwhelmed by that job, and now they're on a loop on MSNBC and CNN and labeled as racist. Are they actually going to lose their jobs?
They better not. What the White House is upset about, what the progressives are upset about, is the Border Patrol protecting the border. If you don't want to have this run-in with somebody, then don't try to illegally cross. And when you see somebody on a horse or a law enforcement officer, back up. Get back to where you're supposed to be getting. I didn't see them doing anything wrong here. Guess what? These people are in a dangerous situation. I back up the Border Patrol. You know what? They've got to use horses. They've got to use other means because there was a surge of people by the thousands. So the Border Patrol, I think, was doing, as best I can tell, everything that I've been able to see, and I certainly haven't seen all of it. They were doing their job. And so the men and women that are doing this, it's tough, it's difficult, it's dangerous, but protecting the border is not what the White House should be upset about.
Jessica, today Peter Doocy also asked Jen Psaki about the issue which Bill Melugin was talking about, that women only, at the illegal immigrant females, only have to say, I'm pregnant, and then deny a test to be allowed to, or to be let into this country, or are not sent back. And Peter Doocy questioned Jen Psaki about that, and then Peter was just asking about the abuse of a system by illegal female immigrants, and Psaki turned it into this feminist screed. That just looks like weak spin to me, because they can't answer basic questions on the numbers of illegal immigrants released into the country.
That's exactly what this is. And the reality is that as illegal immigrants cross the border, they'll grasp at anything that they think they can grasp at as an excuse to stay here illegally. And so it's a shame that the Biden administration is actually, I think, really just disincentivizing everything that's going on and hurting those that are actually pregnant or may need help, because now there's just this free fall of folks coming across the border. It's a shame, it's inhumane. And the reality is that everything that we're seeing is willful, and it was intentional, and it was entirely preventable by the Biden administration.
And now we're getting criticism, Jason, from the Democrats because they're able to criticize from a place of comfort. They're able to attack law enforcement and make it an issue about race. They can talk about it, like Maxine Waters was talking about these patrol officers on horseback and said it's worse than slavery. It's a bit rich to hear it from the left.
Yeah, that is such a shame. It's so shameful for her to be able to say that. Slavery was just abhorrent. It was just an awful, awful time in our history. But to suggest that a Border Patrol agent on a horseback trying to get people to push back is the same as slavery, I mean, God, there is no comparison. Look, the border was under control under Donald Trump. The Biden-Harris administration changed things. But you know what, Dagan, I'm sure now that Kamala Harris is in charge, she's on top of this. I'm sure it's just going to be just fine. Go talk to Kamala Harris if you got a problem.
Wait, I want to look up what Kamala Harris had to say about this. She slammed the Border Patrol as being horrible. Human beings should never be treated that way. Well, this administration, Biden and Harris, Jessica, they have laid the foundation for this human misery and suffering that we're seeing at the border under a bridge in Del Rio, the trafficking of humans, including children, and the trafficking of drugs like fentanyl into this country that are killing Americans. So what they should be upset about is the crisis that they've created on purpose.
The second the Biden-Harris administration revoked Trump's very successful Remain in Mexico policy, they created this crisis. Then they halted border construction. Look where the border was supposed to be constructed, right underneath in that Del Rio Bridge area. All of that is gone. There are no safe holds. So the only line between chaos and craziness, which is what we're seeing now, those policies are all gone. And the CBP doing their jobs, as Jason described, are literally standing there trying to protect our border. And now Biden is doubling down, taking away their resources and defunding them. That is out of touch with the American people. It is not keeping America safe. And it is putting us last when it comes to our security in this country.
Jason, before we go, I want you to listen to what Tom Homan, he was a former acting ICE director, told me yesterday about the Biden administration, and I'll give you final word.
Have they talked anything about the men and women in green who serve this nation, put it on the line every day for this country, and risk their lives? Not a word. I'm disgusted. Once again, they pulled a race card, trying to change the narrative of what's really going on. I am so angry that they failed to back up the men and women who serve this country so honorably.
These are the same people, Biden, Harris, and their ilk, Biden and company, as I call them, who have praised for the Taliban and then criticize our border patrol. Jason, where does it end? Biden's poll numbers are falling. There's a crisis here, there, and everywhere. This is certainly contributing to the COVID problems along the border. Where does it end?
Well, this is the problem. I don't think that it does end. I think Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have invited this. They created the atmosphere, exactly what Jessica said. And guess what? You don't need people on horseback if you have a wall that keeps them back on the side of the fence that they're supposed to be on. But since they're not going to build the wall, they're going to have to do things. And the men and women who put their lives on the line, we should be all supporting them. It is absolutely just, it's just infuriating. Nothing makes you more upset at your government, and certainly Biden and Harris, than the way they treat these federal employees. It's just wrong.
And because the Border Patrol agents have been concentrated in this area in Del Rio, Texas, they're not protected. Less of the border is protected. So that's also wide open. I will say nothing else because I'll curse and get fired. Jason Chaffetz, thank you so much. Always, Jessica Anderson, thank you both. We'll see you soon.